Satish keeps screaming your praises.
Yes.
And they are well deserved. So it's a pleasure, sir, to meet you. We are excited to have you and everyone here. But if you want to give another speech, you're more than welcome to. You're more than welcome to. You've got the floor. Satish, you want to introduce him? You want to tell everybody who he is?
Yes, sir. So I met Jagdish in one of the Toastmasters session. I wanted to be part of this Toastmasters session. So that's where I met him. And he is the founder, one of the founder of the Toastmasters Club in Bangalore. And that is when I saw his influential personality, where he keeps on building multiple clubs across the city, so where people need not travel too much. So that is where I was impressed about his personality, and then I started talking to him and learned a lot of things from him. And when I came into ATS, I felt, okay, Jagdish also should be part of this, so that's why I invited him to be part of this session.
Well, there you go. Jagdish, we are very honored to have you, sir. Very, very.
Pleasure here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Shaker is also an honor to have upon our presence. It's just apparently between Mayuri, Shaker, Jagdish, Satish just knows high quality people, right? I think that's what's going on. I think you're the common thread between all these high quality people. So good job to you, sir. Good job to you. Yes, sir. Satish is we just made him extremely more powerful this morning. I had to break down how rich he was this morning. Would you like to, don't share the details, but when the scales came from your eyes, would you like to share some of that energy? Because it fits what I'm going to talk about today.
Oh, yes, this is, I cannot let go of that feeling. I wanted to achieve one milestone, but I realized this morning, it is not just first milestone, it is the 100 milestones. And the magnitude of the environment or the family which I belong to, it brings me 100, not just one. We always try to dream something little. We don't understand the law of universe. It is so powerful. That's why I truly agree and follow what Antonio says, abundance. It's universe, right? So thank you so much, sir.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. Very welcome. Well, thank you. If this is your first time here, this is our morning meetings. We do this every morning for the last whatever years. At this point, depends on how you look at this company. This company is either 1 day old, 2 years old, or 12 years old. It just depends on how you look at it. We're 1 hour old because we adjust with every customer, right? So every customer, we become a brand new company with every customer. That's one of our secrets here. This division of this company is about 2 years old. And I've been working on this company since July 20th, 2008. One mission, one goal. That's what we have done. Kind of hard to fail when you are too stupid to recognize failure, right? That's if you don't know, I'm just going to tell you, that's what they call smart. When you're too ignorant to recognize failure. when they talk about me when I'm dead, they're going to call me a genius. It's not what I am. I am just too stupid to recognize when I have lost and I keep going forward. That's pretty much the truth right there. That's pretty much the truth. Let that be an inspiration, or maybe it's an inspiration to some of you. I am going to read something. We're going to focus on Rikeza again because it has a plan that fits inside of a plan, inside of the plan, inside of the plan. And if you know anything about me, that's how I work. I am a very layered individual. I was listening to Phil and I was listening to Jagdish, and for me, justice is money. It has to be. because I am a Black American in America. I don't get justice unless I have money. Okay? Not to offend any of you, but I know my reality. So you don't have to like that. I know my reality. I know my reality. I know what must happen in my reality. My what ancestors, what do you call them? The older generation that's still alive, they fought for rights, and that didn't work out for us because rights was not enough. We don't own any resources. So I teach people to fight for resources, especially Indian people. I just have this affinity for India. I'll tell you where that comes from, but it's another ascension rainbow body conversation that we probably won't have on this call. Just know that a lot of that's why India. So that's why we're doing so much good philanthropy work in India, because of, as far as I'm concerned, knowledge comes from Africa and India. But again, that's a different call, Grace. We'll have that call later, and another call later. Don't mind me, Mayuri. I'm just talking out the side of my mouth. I'm just talking. So I want to share something with you first. I'm going to read a blog I wrote years ago. If you've been following me for a while, Oli, I have this tendency to say things 6-7 years in the past, and I be spot on accurate. It's just something I just keep doing over and over and over again. It's not because I'm smart. It's because I just pay attention to people, right? And history, and I like history a lot. And we keep repeating the same mistakes, right? We keep repeating the same mistakes. So I'm going to read something to you. This meeting has a theme of, if you're looking for a theme, growth, money, foundation. Growth, money, foundation. Growth, money, foundation. Growth, money, foundation. I should put foundation first. I want to make this make sense to you. Growth, money, foundation. But the best way to grow is when no one knows you're growing. Please receive that from me. The best way to grow is when no one knows you're growing. There was this old lady, kind old lady, I was mentoring her. I was the dean of her school. She started a school, and I've got some degrees, so it allowed me to be. She had a literally university and then got it accredited. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I'm dean of her school, and she said, Antonio, you have taught me that if people don't know what you're doing, no one can pray against you. Okay, somebody got that. Dr. Sugar, she understands. They can't move against you if they don't know what you're doing. Do you understand what I'm saying? They just can't. And I'm going to reveal a few things why I'm doing what I'm doing today. So typically, I just don't explain too much, Mayuri, because it just takes too long. To be honest with you, I answer all questions. But when I say something, I just don't typically explain because I just don't feel like it. It just takes too long. And when you get a group of people, it just takes too long. So I'm going to share something with you, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I wrote this blog a few years ago. It's called How to Make $1 Million Without People Knowing. Can you see that, Grace? You can see this. Yes. Outstanding. I wrote this blog a while ago. Let me see if I can find a date on it. Let's see. I can't even find a date on it. Is there a date in the link? Oh, nope, not a date in the link. It's a few years ago. We'll find a date here soon. The first thing I talk about, how to make $1 million without people knowing. The first thing I say is mastering the power of perception and compound effort. Notice that I do not say compound numbers. Notice that I do not say compound interest. I say compound effort. So let me stop this real quick because I want you to understand. I'm finally explaining some of the things that I've done. Compound interest does not exist anymore, does it? Now, am I talking about the concept or the objective reasoning of compound interest? No, I can't. I can't possibly say compound interest does not exist no more, because as long as you have bacteria on planet Earth, compound interest exists, right? The doubling. You only get sick. You walk around with bacteria every day. Okay, you walk around with bacteria every day. But when that bacteria doubles through mitosis or whatever would be this doubling method, it'll double so much until now you have enough bacteria in you to cause a fever. So I can't argue that, Jagadish. I can't argue that happens in nature. What I can argue to all of you is that your governments don't care about compound interest. That I can tell you. Because every chance they get, they devalue your money. Every chance they get. Now, just look at it yourself. India right now is on pace, even with COVID-19 lockdown. By 2030, in India, we'll have the largest middle class of the whole world by 2030. And the government is going to continue to devalue the dollar. I'm telling all of you right now, in the next 5-6 years, the U.S. dollar will be devalued by 15 to 16%. And 60% of the world uses the U.S. dollar. And the U.S. controls way too. Let me watch it before I get assassinated. The U.S. controls a lot of central banks. Let me just say that. All right. Let me just say that. So compound interest in itself exists. Yes, cryptocurrency absolutely comes next. What I'm telling you objectively here is your government doesn't care. It's going to just devalue your dollar because the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. As long as there is a capitalistic society, which capitalism is fine, but does need some changes, people like me are going to continue to get rich. And people who are not like me are going to continue to get poor. It's just the way it is. I don't make those rules. I'm the guy trying to alleviate people from that. So what is the point of me having you understand why I say compound effort? Because effort beats capitalism every day. We will soon be in negative interest rates. So right now, to my knowledge, there's 13 countries already doing it. Japan's been there for 5 years. America is almost there. Donald Trump 2 weeks ago just screamed on Twitter to put us there. Now, how can you have money with negative interest rates? Negative interest rates basically mean the bank doesn't make money for holding it. They lose money for holding it. That's what negative interest rates basically mean. So I do not want you to hear compound interest as I read this. I'm just going to read it word for word. I want you to hear compound effort. Everybody okay with that? All right, good. I just didn't mean to go on a little rant, but I wanted to reprogram your brain so you can understand why I do some of the things that I do. So this says mastering the power of perception. You should probably read 48 Laws of Power. That'll help you out there. And then compound effort. And this is me word for word. I'm a man of mystery. I keep it that way. What you think I know or how much you think I know always depends on my assessment of your intentions for me. I have two distinct advantages over most people. I always convince myself that I don't know anything. I vehemently refuse to be outworked. That's really the two things that make me me. I'm like Plato, I don't know Jack, and I don't know, I'm Dwayne The Rock Johnson. You're just not going to outwork me, and I'm a nice guy, right? Something like that. With this being said, I want to tell you how to create $1 million or make $1 million. For those who know me or think they do, you have no idea I possess this knowledge or know what I have become because I keep your perception just how you want it to be. Now, this is years ago. This makes sense to me reading this now. This is like 4 years ago I wrote this. Okay? Being better and smarter than me. I truly don't mind at all. I'm very happy to make you feel better about yourself. We all deserve to feel good. Let's go back to point number one. What's point number one? I don't know anything. Let's go back to point number one. Since I always convince myself that I don't know anything, I'm always reading complex mathematics, solving new equations, or devouring some quantum physics books. In truth, I read about 20 books a month. That number's gone higher now, but anyway. This is a real number, not exaggerated at all. I'm very weird to say the least. Moreover, concerning point number two, I vehemently refuse to be outworked. I don't care who you are or what prestigious college or family you come from. Put me next to you and I will lap you in effort. I speak over 300 times a year to all sorts of people. I go into prisons and speak to people who can't buy any of my books. I speak to CEOs who make more money than me. They all understand, I understand how to compound my effort and the efforts of others. Today, I want to teach you my biggest secret, at least one of them. So let me just stop right here because the meeting is pretty short, but I need you to get that. Hold on, let me. I don't even use this website anymore, y'all. Okay, I just use the domains for emails. The other blogs related to this is from 2017. Right, here's some dates here, just so you can understand. This is at the least 3 years old, at the least. Now, I want to show you that, you know how I say I'm famous for giving away value, giving away secrets, add value. I've been doing this. I've been teaching people secrets, so let's keep paying attention. I understand a fable that was told many years ago about an inventor of a game of chess and the emperor of India. So let me just stop real quick. I had no idea Jagadish was going to be on this call until 6 in the morning. I had a meeting with Satish at 2 hours ago, our time, or whatever time it is, like 5:30 p.m. for him or whatever it was, right? Doesn't matter because I write these meetings out the night before. So it just doesn't matter, right? Daily meetings, I can't do them the day of. I got to do them the night before. So it doesn't matter if he was here, Shaker was here. It just doesn't matter. What matters is that a lot of the things that I do come from many religions in India, okay? Many other things that I do come from the beginning of the world in Africa, okay? I just need you to get this. Like Vedic math, which I really enjoy and I teach my children. Just so you understand, who's that unmuted? Oh, okay. That I really enjoy, okay? Really, really enjoy. And I teach my children because, right? Yes, I love that, Shaker, right? I love that. I teach my children that. Nevertheless, I'm going to tell you one of the stories that changed fundamentally the way I think long ago. And I didn't, in fairness, when I first heard this, Oli, I was not worthy of the intelligence of this story. I had to grow to the intelligence of this story. I did not have the character. I did not have the confidence. I did not have the humility. And I did not have the consciousness to pull off the things in this story. Because most people get things and tell people they got things. That's why they lose things. That's kind of the way it works. If you truly want to be rich, then stay broke. That's also the way that works. You know, you got $10 million, don't spend it, invest it. Do you have enough confidence to walk around in a $6 t-shirt with $10 million in the bank? If you do, you're my kind of person. I'm just going to assume that all of you have that confidence because you couldn't exist into my reality if we were not the same, because like attracts like. So clearly what I am is also you. I want you to know that two things changed me financially: George S. Classen's Richest Man in Babylon and this story from India. Anything else, I'm either being generous, I am lying just out flat, or I don't know. But I'm telling you, fundamentally, this story from India and the principles of the richest man in Babylon changed my life forever. So I'm trying to impute, that's a fancy SAT word, that means I am pushing on you this truth. I'm imputing that. I am lavishing is a synonym for impute. I am saying to you, Satish, you're standing there. Now, get this truth. It's basically what impute means, okay? Get this truth of India. You need it if you want to survive. All right, here we go. So back to the sharing of the screen as I read. I understand this fable that was told many years ago about an adventure of a chess game and the Emperor of India. I don't know if the story is true, but I can tell you that my subconscious cannot tell the difference. So it works for me every time. I will not share with you the fable. The story goes that the ruler of India was so pleased with one of his palace wise men who invented the game of chess that he offered the wise man a reward of his own choosing. The wise man, who was also a mathematician, told his master that he would like just 1 grain of rice on the first square of the chessboard and double that number of grains of rice on the second square, and so on and so on. Double the number of grains on each of the next 62 squares on a chessboard. This seemed to be a modest request that the ruler understood. So he called for his servants to bring the rice. How surprised was he to find that the rice quickly covered the chessboard, then filled the palace. How could this be? I shall tell you, since you got this far in this blog. The number of rice on the 63rd square was ridiculous. It can be written as 2 to the 63rd power. And I show you what that is here. Or, in itself, 2 times itself 63 times. In physics talk, that number is expressed as 9.223372 exponential 18 times. I'm trying to say that in common language. Or this number that I literally had to look up just how to pronounce. And in actual words, it's 9 quintillion, 223 quadrillion, 372 trillion, 36 billion, 854,775,808. That number in itself sounds like a song. You could put some music behind it and it would be a hit song and just say that. Following the exponential growth of the rice payment, the king quickly realized that he was unable to fulfill his promise because the 20th square, the king would have had to put 1 million grains of rice. On the 4th square, the king would have put 1 billion grains of rice. And finally, on the 63, he would have had to put that number on the thingamabobby. And each grain of rice, like grains of rice, it would have equaled 210 billion tons. Think about that. Think about having so much rice. A car is approximately 2 tons. Grace, unmute your mic for me. Would you mind doing the easy math in your head and just splitting in half for us 210 billion tons?
105 billion.
That's 100 105 billion cars. Think about that. When you can secretly make the wealth of rice equal 105 billion cars, you have my attention, sir. You absolutely have my attention. You do. This would make this, anyway, make this total number this crazy thing. It's just, I can't even pronounce this now. I would have to look this up. I would have to copy and paste, put it in Google. This number is, how do you pronounce this number? Is what I would have to put in Google. I don't even know how to pronounce this number, okay? I don't even know how to pronounce it. I'm smart, and I don't know how to pronounce this number at all. That's staggering. Yet, it is also how you make $1 million and much more with very little talent. And while no one around you is the wiser. Let me pause real quick because today's meeting just has like 3 things, but I need you to understand all this here. If you know me, let's see.
Hey, Antonio.
Carol. Yes, go ahead, Phil.
I might have misunderstood you. I thought you said there were 62 squares, and I think there's 64 squares.
Pretty sure it is, right? So whatever the blog said is what I wrote. So I'm pretty sure that if the number is off, either way, it's a lot of money there. A lot of crazy, right?
That means you're going to have to double it again.
Double it again. It's just insane, right? Just double it again. Double it again. Carol, to the best of your knowledge, unmute your mic. I'm picking you just because random energy. Would you say I am a religious man?
Yes.
Okay. So Phil says no, you says yes. I guess I'll be both. I'm definitely not, though. That's for sure.
When I talk
definitely
about,
not, and definitely am.
When I mean by religion, has nothing to do with God. It
Fair
has
enough.
to do with practice.
Okay. So we'll blend in religious and spiritual together. Okay. That's what you're doing. That's just fine. Now, how many religions do you know, to the best of your knowledge, that I associate with on a regular basis, like every day?
Well, I've heard you mention about 6. How
Okay.
many?
I am. Well, yeah, I don't know how many either, but I am extremely proficient in the top 6, and by top I just mean population of religions. And I was on purpose because one day, a long time ago, I just Googled what are the top 6 religions, and I said to myself, I want to know all of them. I'll show you just for a second. I will share my notes. And, hold on. Got some access codes there. Yeah, I don't need to see that. Just give me a second. Email. There we go. You didn't want to see those access codes there, Carol. You didn't want to see all those, you know. You didn't want to know my social and all that stuff like that. So anywho, so just so you know, one of my recent favorite religions here lately is, let's see. Now my search isn't working. Oh, it is. Sikhism. I've just come to love Sikhism. I'm not even sure why. And these are my, I haven't updated since December 4th, 2007. Yeah, I don't even think we have a Sikh in this organization whatsoever. I'm not even sure if we do. But, I've got these notes here, 5th, 20 million followers, blah, blah, blah. But I have notes. Uh-oh. Computer's there. There we go. Nope. Computer's mad at me. It's giving me a little square thing. But I have notes. This is what I've done. The heart, just scrolling down. This is long. This is just me just being weird. So if I ever run into a Sikh, I would be able to have at least some relative conversation. Okay? That's just for me. That's not for anybody else. This is just for me. Oh, that's right. I had a coaching client. That's what it was. Thank you, Deanna, for reminding me. Tell them that real quick. That's right. You are right.
You had
you sure are right.
I hate that I cannot remember her name. She was really, really
nice.
No,
I wouldn't even want you to say the name. Lisa was her first name, but the other name.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. she was your coaching client, and what you did when you had coaching clients was if they were, if it was a religious practice that you did not know or were not familiar with, you would actually go in and study it so that way you can better understand them and their culture. So while coaching them, you'd understand their mindset, why they think, how they think, and programming. But then
Right,
you also like to, you're a person who, so what I'm looking, you are also a person who likes to empathize with others. So that's another reason why that you studied the culture. So in speaking with her, when she speaks to you, you understand her culture, her language, and so that way you can be able to empathize with the things that she tells you to better be able to coach.
no doubt. So Deanna's my number 2. She's been very nice to me, my ear, very nice. All that empathy, she's right. And everything she says is accurate. What's more of the truth, I am insanely compulsive. And once my mind locks onto something, it cannot lock off. It's just that simple, right? Once I get locked in, I am locked in and I do not quit. I just don't. And when I'm locked in, so I just did this sequence of stuff, but I'm showing you this for a reason because I want to just want to go back. So here are some few things that I want you to see that I saw from this story. You should probably, well, so these are the things to see here. Be seen operating in your gift until you get noticed. That, remember, oh, here's a chessboard. Wow, this is amazing. Okay, yeah, okay. Now, once you're noticed, be wise, but not overbearing with your wisdom. Let others crave blessing you. After all, never block anyone's opportunity to be nice to you. These are my words. Like, this is somebody else's words. Number 3, understand that what you want in life will more than likely come from other people. That's why I always tell y'all that you're the most important thing that I've done all day. Therefore, be seen being great, valuable, and deserving of a blessing. Number 4, respect the power of compound interest. This time I put it here, okay? Because this time I want you to focus on interest, not effort. There is no force on planet Earth more powerful than it, because now I'm talking objectively about things being compounded. Energy, E equals mc squared. If you don't know what that means, I will give it to you right now. It is Einstein. First it was the special theory of relativity, and then the general theory. He fought very hard to make it the general theory of relativity. It's simple. Einstein understood the way you would call, I'll give it to you in many schools of thought. Let me give you Einstein first. Energy, E, equals mass. C would be light squared, okay? Energy is simply mass times the speed of light twice. Just do it again. This remote control, which is mass, is simply energy. But the vibration of this remote control times the speed of light twice over time in one area created the remote control. Period, point blank. Let's see. Neil Donald Walsh, or maybe Abraham, I don't know who, would tell you thoughts plus emotions equals creations. I know I would tell you that for sure. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. The more, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, well, one of the things that when you were saying that over and over and over is also a belief system, but if it's conscious, like collectively, that's enough to make that happen immediately.
It's scientific formula, right? Of course it is. So you could take that scientifically if you want. You could take it philosophically. You could take it through faith. You could take it through arrogance. Einstein just happened to quantify it in quantum physics. Well, it wasn't quantum physics. That's not what he was doing. but Einstein just happened to make it a scientific equation. Everyone's saying the same thing. We're just using different schools of thoughts. But prosperity has one voice. One voice. Prosperity has one voice. Everyone's saying the same thing. We just go to war over how Antonio said it. Right? We just go to war over how Antonio said it. There's a strong purpose here because I was in tune with source yesterday and I realized something, and I actually told Deanna Satish this morning, but never mind. Now, remember, the wise man only used what he had to get rich. Only what he had. Grace, in the Christian faith, this is why I brought up knowing those 6 faiths. What's my favorite scripture?
Be faithful to the few, and I will make you rule over many.
Let me tell you why that's my favorite scripture in the Christian faith. Because it didn't tell me to be smart. It didn't tell me to be white. It didn't tell me to be male or female. It said be faithful. Do you understand? And I realized one day, if I just be faithful, I could be a ruler. I know how to be faithful. I'm compulsive. So this is what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do anything else until you give me my blessing. It's just that simple. I like that scripture because, scripture and Christian. I like that because only it makes me feel good because I never had a shot. So now you're telling me I can transcend out the trash can and become a ruler if I'm faithful. I can do that all day. All day I can do that. I'm not just making this up because what's the number 1 rule in this company, Deanna?
No one suffers alone.
No, it's number 1 rule. What's the number 2 rule I meant? Well, that's what I meant to say.
Stay in the plane.
That is my version of saying be faithful. You don't jump out of a plane at 30,000 feet, 90,000 kilometers, going 30,000 miles per hour. You don't do that. That doesn't make sense. You don't jump out of a plane going 90 kilometers per hour because the turbulence is going to tear your body apart. If you're on a journey, stay yourself in the plane. The plane will land safely. If you jump out, you're going to die. It's just that simple, okay? It's just that simple. It's a talk mission, right? It's just that simple. So remember, the wise man only used what he had to get rich. Nothing more. Nothing more. Because nothing, God dog it, because nothing more was needed. Grace, I'm doing this whole thing to make one point, but I got to put out some instructions. But yesterday I got resistance for it. And I thought about that resistance all day. And I said, what's the best way to lead past that resistance? I shouldn't use my pulpit as a bully pit. Don't do that. I shouldn't correct because no one likes righteousness. That's not going to do it. What's the best way for me to move past resistance? I'm like, okay, it's programming. That's what it is. I didn't get, let me stop this real quick. They didn't resist me, Satish. I activated their programming. See, now I'm in some leadership classes right now, right? I didn't ruffle your feathers. I activated your programming. So I said, okay, then, what's the best way to re-explain the very simple thing I already said without activating the programming? And I thought long and hard, and I said, you know what I need to do? I need to tell them what I know and what changed me. And I'm just going to read it word for word. Something I wrote years ago before I was worth what I am. Okay? Before. Way before. And I said, well, maybe if I go back into the past, you know, my hand is off screen. If I go back to the past and pull it here, maybe old me won't activate their program. Because old me was hungry, still hungry today, right? But sometimes when you're the leader or you're the CEO, people think you're saying something because you want it that way. That's how I came off yesterday. I probably even said, this is what I want. I'm going to say it again today. But this time I want to say it without activating your program. I'm not changing my tune. I'm just changing my tone. Did somebody get what I just said? The same song. Just,
Body language just didn't change though.
No, I'm still me, right? I'm still core me. You can peel back the onions all you want to. It's the layers. I'm still going to be an onion, right? You're not going to change core me. This is not going to happen. I've reincarnated many a times as this personality, male or woman. All right, let me just tell you. Okay. Nothing more was needed. And I find it no coincidence that Satish and Phil, Jagadish were all talking about abundance and justice. Abundance. I didn't start that conversation. I just eavesdrop on it. I didn't start that. There's nothing else needed. So break down, listen, y'all. Break down what you want into the size of 2 grains of rice and then double that effort and then double the next effort and so on. Then you will have your $1 million, my friend, all while being underestimated. So Antonio, why would you say that? You're just, it's your charisma, right? You're putting on a show. You're making this up on the spot. You're doing something that is something, right? You're just doing something that we don't understand. No, that's not what's happening. Let me tell you what's happening. Typically, I don't share my morning meeting notes. They're so short, I'll share them with you today. Please know at all times, this is the only thing that this is about. Every time I do a meeting, I'm always thinking about these things. Satish, you would never talk to me, and hold on, I got y'all. I'm sorry. Because this is what's important, but I never bring it up. I don't bring it up, but it's always brought up. I bring it up what you call indirectly, vicariously. So now you can see it now. At every time you ever meet me, I am going to control these 6 areas: economics, finance, data information, manufacturing, infrastructure, communications, and resources. You're never going to meet me, and I'm not. This isn't what the meeting is about. But this company, let me start another one. Let me go to a birthday party, and I'm trying to figure out how to control the economics of this birthday party, right? Let me go to the store. And please note, economics is different than finances. Those are 2 different things. Economics is more community related and how that money impacts the community and how many times can I make money bounce around the ATS companies 16 to 17 times before it leaves. I would never make money and then send it off. That doesn't make any sense. I don't have an economy. If I make money and send it off, I just gave someone else my economy. I'm trying to help you. All right. Every single day. Please listen. Feel free to screenshot this. You can have this. I wouldn't share it. I don't own anything. Because, right? There's only one of us in the room. There's nothing I own. That's why I give away everything. I give away all my best stuff because I know how I'm supposed to share the light, and this is how I do it. I don't own anything. You can have that. I strongly suggest that all of you build your companies this way. If you have a coaching or consulting company and you're not thinking about these things, you're not going to get to $1 million. In fact, I would argue you'll never get to $1 million with anything if you're not focused on these things. Because if you're paid, first off, if you ain't got no team, you ain't getting nowhere. That's number one. And when you get a team, and if you don't have the allocated resources enough to do many of things, I could just go with that. And communications, that's a whole different thing. I had to do that yesterday. Had to fix communications yesterday, my fault. Infrastructure, that's what Satish's for. Manufacturing, that's why we winning, because it cost me 1 penny to produce something that we charge $59 for. Right? It cost me 1 penny to produce something we charge $59 for. You can't outspend me. Data information, right? Leads, or we just broken out of that. Now, here's the point. Grace, I want you, I already did this. Don't worry about it. I did this. I can erase it. I did it. All of you, if you want to make money with me, oh, no. That's what, I remember, Grace. I remember why I put this here. If you want to make money with me, I want you to understand something. The whole Ricasa thing, y'all, is about one thing and one thing only. This is non-negotiable. It's about sharing my wealth. It's about nothing else. You understand? The only thing that I want to do with Ricasa is share the wealth. We'll talk about Ricasa today. Okay? That's the company in which I'm giving away 50% of all profits on a network marketing model, but it's not necessarily a network marketing. It's absolutely not a network marketing company. But the model I like. That means every dollar that comes into this company, I want to give away 50. I'm literally giving away 50% of that. So for every dollar, you're giving away 50 cents. Now, some of you savvy businessmen and women know that is insane. There's no company in the world, to my knowledge, that gives away half its profits. That doesn't make sense. You did not go to college and the college said, listen, every time you pay for a class, we're going to give you half the money back. That is not the way it worked. Go ahead, Phil.
It's more than half your profits. It's half your gross.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You need to start saying that. It's half the gross. It is half the gross. Dollar come in, 50 cents go out. We take on the expenses, you don't. So the next time you talk about Ricasa and forever, it's sharing our wealth. Do you understand? It has no other purpose. Don't get in any other energy but that. That typically say they should give it back. With that being said, in rapid succession, I want 800 customers free by July 1st. It's free. It's free. It's a $4,000 product that I just made free. People need help. 800 customers. Monica would then call them or something and see if they want to upgrade, but this is free, lifetime membership. They never have to do anything. And to prove that I mean what I'm saying, if these people ever get in free, they never have to upgrade or pay anything to get 50% commission from Ricasa. Pay attention. Yeah, that's a big deal. Pay attention to what I'm saying. They never have to be a paying customer to get 50% commissions. So if you know someone struggling, or if you're struggling and the universe sat upon you an opportunity like this and you're not sharing it, you're not living your purpose, period. That's got nothing to do with me. Carbon-based creatures. This is why I like science so much, because when I got to say something, Shaker, I use science, because people don't want to listen to me. They're like science. When you say science, it works. Carbon-based creatures have two things. The only two things carbon-based creatures do is live. That's the first and foremost. If you're a carbon-based creature, your first responsibility is to live. That's it. Your second responsibility is to duplicate yourself and pass on knowledge to the next generation. That's it. Even if you can't have babies, then you duplicate yourself in character and personality. The mere fact that you're 13 chromosomes from your mom and 13 chromosomes from your dad, the mere fact that you were born with 50% of your personality before you ever cried a tear proves to you genetically carbon-based creatures have two. Plants don't have babies. They replicate themselves to the next generation, and they live. Everybody understand what I'm saying? So if you don't go share, then you're not living. Now, as a carbon-based creature, you're doing something different. Now, does everybody have to do this? Nope. Am I telling people who don't, I don't know, do this? No. But anyone that's catching the vibration, Carol, that does this, I'm automatically enrolling you, should you want to, in Rakeza that shares its wealth. Please listen to this, no strings attached. If there's no way I'm going to let you promote this business and not get paid 50% for it, no matter what. This business exists for one purpose. That's why it's multiple businesses in one. Why can I do this? Sugar, why can I pull this off? Because this business has no bills, because it's paid from another business. Do you understand? This business has no bills. The bills are paid from another business. So I can give away 50% of the gross because they ain't got no bills. That's incredible. That's what I'm doing. I was trying to explain this. So I want 800. See, if I would have said, if I would start off there with that grace, 800, I'd have activated your program. Some of y'all said, I'm not going to make him famous. I'm not going to make him rich. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to go out there for you and silently become a millionaire. That's why I read that blog. Because, in addition, any customer, because it's just customers going to get customers. They're going to get if you got 50 people that you signed up, that's 50 people under, I don't know, let's just use, these are my top right, Jagadish screen. Success team or whatever you want to call it. And for life, he gets commission if they do something. Did he pay anything? No. There are some folk like me, poor, living in a trash can. You find me, I will change the world. Y'all know my story. I grew up homeless. That's what I did. Nobody gave me a shot, so I took my shot. There's somebody out there right now, like me, looking for a shot. They go either take it or you're going to give it to them. But one way or the other, they would not be denied. I just suggest you go find 10 people who won't be denied. Satish got 651 English words in his lexicon. Just 651 or something like that. That's it. Doing $1 million deals. That's somebody who won't be denied. That's it.
I got a
He
question.
didn't learn a new. Yes, ma'am.
Some months back, we had a group of us that were going to be doing that. And you guys were supposed to create something so that the link would go in and you would know that it was us who did the introduction. Was that ever worked on? Because I hadn't heard anything after that.
It's both. It was worked on, and then that's also why the software is what Satish is doing is making that even better. But if we can create you, if you can do it two other ways. You can sign somebody up and say that's my person, or we can give you a link that's specific to you until the software is done. Then it'll tag it that way. And I have written, y'all haven't seen it, but it's a good question because you give me an opportunity to say it. The way I got it done is in 90 days or 60 days, if someone signs up, you got 60 days. We will go backwards 60 days just to give you credit for an unclaimed person. That's incredible. Even if you miss, you ain't missed. Because it ain't going to take you longer than 2 months to figure out if somebody is taking classes, right? Somebody taking classes. And right there, I'm doing everything I possibly can to make this a wealth, sharing our wealth. This company is personal for me because, and excuse me for saying it this way if this bothers you, but God has been good to me. And I plan on being good back. That's me. I ain't trying to bother nobody else. That's just me. Now let me show you, because I activated some triggers and stuff yesterday. That's 80 paying customers. Now, I ain't got nothing to do with you. That's a sales. You should write this down, Grace. And Grace putting pressure on you, go get 80 by yourself. All right? Go get 80 by yourself. I want 800. 800. It's free. Why do I want that? 80 by July. So that's 880, right? By July 1st. Why do I want that? Simple. In conclusion, there's the link if y'all want to join that group. Anybody collects it, because I'll be communicating in that group. Let me read this message. Oh, yeah. We'll definitely do that and actually have it. Haven't released it because the call to action has changed due to the software. So that's why it hasn't been released. So maybe I could do a version without the call to action. And, we don't have a way to convert people over to the software yet until it's done. So that's what that is. There's the link in the chat.
Antonio,
yes, sir.
we could be responsible for following up.
All right, well, there you go. I'll make sure we do that then.
That's the way to complete the loop.
Yeah, we actually already have it. So I'll pull it. I'll look at the files and get it's 3 of them we have. We got 3 of them.
I want to reinforce the book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. This was more than 1 million copies in print. And it was printed in 1963, and I probably got this in 70. So, but why I want to say it specifically to this group, Dr. Joseph Murphy, fellow of the Andhra Research, University of India. This stuff came out of India.
Look at that.
So the power, yeah, it's the manual to teach you how to program your subconscious mind. And that's the mind that makes your heart beat without you having to go heartbeat, heartbeat, heartbeat. That's the mind that makes your glands work without you having to go glands secrete. So if you can program that, think about what you can do with it. And that's what this book is completely about. So with
Phil?
our Indian connection and this, I think it'd be great.
Bill, can you put that book up again for a minute?
Sure.
Thank you. The Power of the Subconscious. Okay, thank you.
By Dr. Joseph Murphy.
Thank you very much, Phil. Thank you very much. I know that was completely just to for one, I don't have 1 million books in print, so you should probably go get that book. That's number one. Kiara just said she finished it. Number two, he said it comes out of India. Well, let's see what else comes out of India. The CEO of Microsoft comes out of India. It's the truth. It is the truth, right? There's like 3 almost $1 trillion companies with Indian CEOs. It's got nothing to do with me, all right? It's got nothing to do with me. Now, the reason I did this today, because yesterday I told y'all I'm not releasing the software. until you get to 80 people. I'm not. It's the same tune. This time you understand why. It's not me being, I don't know, abrasive. It's me understanding that those 80 is 80 grains of rice. That's what I did. I said, we're not starting with 1 grain of rice. Why would I do that? Why would I start with 1 grain of rice when for free, I already built the chessboard for free. For free. We can start with 80 grains of rice. Now double that every month. Double it every day and see what happens. To be honest with you, at that kind of math, you double that every day, in about 13 cycles, you would run out of population on planet Earth. you wouldn't be able to keep sustaining that growth. You would run out of people. We would be on Mars with Wi-Fi. we would be on Mars Wi-Fi recruiting whoever is on Mars. Do you understand? But since, respectfully received some pushback, I pushed it further because I'm a CEO. So since you thought 80 was too much, I moved it to 880. Of course I did that. Why would I not do that? I have a $1 million mindset. So if you think 80 is scary, I'm not going to say, well, just do 8, Mayuri. I want to say, go do 880. And now I'm taking the 80 that was free, and I'm saying, make that paid. Now, since you thought 80 was a lot, go get 800 for free. Because I was never talking about me. Here's what's clear as I'm landing the plane. This ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm already rich. It has nothing to do with me. Phil pointed out, it's 50% of the gross. I have us on a plan in the next 3 years with this company, mathematical plan to get $3.45 billion in revenue. That automatically makes me must pay out almost $1.5 billion to regular people. If you can't follow that, I don't know what's going on. You're either way too far right or way too far left in your politics. I'm not right. You're too far on both ends of the spectrum. Because this is unabashed. Let me bring that down. I'm not saying you have to be good for this money. I just know I attract good people. I'm not saying you must be educated to get this money. No. I didn't say you got to have a 501. Y'all ever try to get some money from the government or something, or a corporation? You got to have a 501c3. You can have felonies. You could have been to jail. If you want to change the quality of your life and save your family and get out the middle class, you qualify. Now, to my knowledge, Mayuri, I don't know nobody else doing this. I don't. I'm not even trying to compare. I'm just saying I'm crazy. And Tempest just literally took the words out of my mouth. Just be faithful to the few. So listen to me. Same tune. This time I just told you where my programmer was coming from. It is important. I don't know what you're trying to, and if you're the Bureau of Dominant Speakers, that has a similar plan that's completely different. The Bureau of Dominant Speakers is another company that I own that has no bills. It's another company in which I'm doing philanthropist work. It's completely different. Different model. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going to give you one more text. It's a sacred text. This text comes from the Hebrew people. And one day some guy was like, listen, if you just do what I say, I'll open up the window of heaven for you and pour you out one blessing to where you won't have room enough to receive. Now hear me, I promise you, I'm done. The guy was talking on behalf of his deity. His name is Malachi, if you're wondering. And Malachi was told to tell Shaker, I'm going to open up the window of heaven. Please know, I know you Americans think that Jesus was American and Republican. I know you think that. That is obvious. Jesus was from the East. Okay? He's not American, nor did Jesus speak English, nor the Hebrews, okay? English did not exist, nor did the United States dollar or the Indian rupee or the Russian ruble. Right? Jerry's like, I'm shocked. Yeah, I know, right? No, seriously. It wasn't talking about money, because their lifeline was harvest. So when Malachi said, I'm going to open up the windows of heaven and pour out for you a blessing, he's literally saying, I'm going to make it rain so much that the ground you labor over is going to feed you for generations to come. That gave me chills. Let me tell you why I like that so much. Because once again, just like my favorite scripture in Grace's religion, that don't take no talent, Carol. That man didn't say, you know what? If you are a kind person, I'm going to open up a window. Nope. If you are the black sheep of your family, I'm going to. If you have children, no. All it takes to get the window of heaven, right, the skies, if you say it's true to the text, the skies, to rain, is y'all just got to be smart enough and effort enough to find the window. If you know a better window than a company giving 50% of its gross revenue, then by all means, go find that window. But if you don't, the window of heaven has opened up. All you got to do is have enough consciousness to say, well, I'm standing right here with my hands open. I'm done.
So
80 and 800. Go ahead, Carol.
So I studied SRF, the SRF with it's part of the Paramahasa Yogananda, so it is from India too.
Okay, look at you. All right.
Well, I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner. I've studied Ayurveda.
Okay.
But I was in New York. I also did the meditational practices with self-realization fellowship.
First off, anytime someone from the West bring up any ascended master, my ears are always peaked. But keep going, please.
So as you were saying, one of the things in the prayer thing was also, it's like, I am one with the Father. All things the Father hath are mine. If I cannot open a window and pour you a blessing, you are unable to receive it.
That's a fantastic way to end this meeting, ladies and gentlemen. Please, do yourself a favor. Hope you learned something. You know the plan. You know where we're going. 80 paid, 800 free. And Grace, I want you to run circles around everybody. I'm charging you to show them one person can do 80. Antonio T. Smith Jr., you can plan better. You can dominate. Looking forward to speaking to all of you. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed. Let's go get our abundance. All right, everybody. Have a good one. I'm so grateful.